Calcium. Everybody needs it. You're going to be shocked by some of the studies in here. Calcium is one of those things that we think about for what? Bone health, right? Actually, calcium is important to keep your heart beating, to keep your teeth in your mouth. How many people want to keep your teeth in your mouth as long as possible? For nerve conduction, for your hormones to work properly, for your blood to clot, for your body weight to be the best it can, and for immunity. So we've got this huge storage system for calcium called what? Bones, right? The skeletal system. It's really big, and it has to be because without calcium, your heart would stop beating. So what happens with calcium is the minute your body senses that your blood levels of it are a little low, it grabs. It says, give me some calcium. I need it. And it takes. And how many people have ever had a kid borrow money from you, like a teenager? I just want to borrow $100. Do they replace? No. That's the problem with that borrowing problem they have. It's the same thing with our bodies. If we borrow calcium from the bone, it has to be replaced in order for the bone to stay healthy. That's why we think of it with bone health when we should think of it with overall health for every single thing. It's the most abundant mineral in our bodies. Teeth and bones is one of the biggest reasons that people should take calcium. Dentists should be recommending calcium to every single person. It's very necessary for our muscles to contract, for us even to walk. The time we're laying down the most bone really starts in the uterus and then in childhood, because kids grow at a crazy rate, don't they? About 75% of Americans are calcium deficient. The average person loses 400 to 500 milligrams of calcium every day with a 200 milligram minimum. So baseline is 200, but most people lose 400 to 500 milligrams daily of calcium from it grabbing from the bone. So we borrow it. It's got to be replaced. Every year in the United States, there's tons and tons of fractures. I used to, when I worked at Community Memorial, one of the units that I ran was the orthopedic unit. And, especially in the winter like this, hip fractures were every single day. Back fractures, and people generally don't live well after those sorts of things happen to them. So by the time we're 18 years old, women, and men are 20, we've acquired 90% of our lifetime peak bone mass. It's so cold in here, my nose is running. Fewer than 10% of girls aged 9 to 17 get the recommended calcium every day. That's terrible, isn't it? The development of bone mass begins in fetal development and pregnancy and helps form teeth. Look at this. Who's not getting the recommended level of calcium? 2 out of 3 children who are 4 to 8 years old, 9 out of 10 adolescent females. 9 out of 10. Think about that. Think about how much is being borrowed from their bone between that age group. 7 out of 10 males that are between the age of 9 and 18. 7 out of 10 adult females. 2 out of 5 adult males, 9 out of 10 adult females who are over 51, and 8 out of 10 adult males over 51. So everybody over the age of 50 and kids should be taking calcium. So you don't notice it, do you? You walk around and you don't notice that you borrowed 500 milligrams of calcium that day in the short term. It's the effect of it happening over and over again that causes all of these problems. So what happens is body mass concerns, cardiovascular concerns, hormonal concerns, and muscle function happens with the body borrowing calcium. So how much calcium do we need? Birth to 6 months, 200 milligrams, 7 to 12 months, 260, 1 to 3 years old, 700. Kids 4 to 8 years old need 1,000. Teenagers 9 to 18, 1,300. 19 to 70 years, 1,000. And adults 71 years and older need 1,200 milligrams calcium daily to replace. Okay, this would be really great to have at a product show for calcium, this particular slide. So you take a picture of this one. This is a great slide to have. A lot of people are challenged in getting enough calcium. So any of the women that are in postmenopausal, so that starts about age 50, women of childbearing age, people who exercise heavily, lactose intolerant, and vegans all need extra calcium. Here's the sources: leafy greens, low-fat cheese, low-fat milk, low-fat yogurt, and almonds. And you can see the amounts that are in these things. But in order to get those amounts, you really need to eat a lot of those foods. They say the best source is 8 ounces of milk is 300 milligrams, 6 ounces of plain yogurt, and 3 ounces of salmon. But to get 750 milligrams, you need 6 slices of cheese, 20 ounces of milk, 4 cups of broccoli, or 2 6-ounce cups of yogurt. So there's challenges with this. There's also challenges with absorbing calcium from the digestive tract, because our ability to do that decreases as we get older. And then a lot of people have low vitamin D intake, which affects it, and a lot of it pairs with different acids and crystallizes. And alcohol and caffeine-containing beverages block the uptake of calcium in the bones. So if you've got people that are drinking a lot of coffee, that are Wisconsin people and like a lot of alcohol, got a lot of calcium deficient people running around, right? So absorption is the key with calcium. That's the whole struggle. And so only 20% of the calcium we receive from food sources is absorbed by the body, because it's so difficult to absorb. So when you think about that, you'd have to actually take that milk and increase it up to, let's see, 2, 4, 6, up to about 35 glasses. Okay, that'd be crazy, right? Best sources of calcium are 2 capsules of isotonic calcium plus. It's 750 milligrams of calcium, and the remaining amount you would be able to get from your diet fairly easily. The best way to take it is a cap in the morning and a cap in the evening. There's 5 sources of calcium in it. In an isotonic form, 90 to 95% is delivered within 10 to 15 minutes, unlike tablets that most of the time do not break down at all in calcium form. We have the right supportive minerals in it and the proper amount of vitamin D3 to absorb the calcium. Not the proper amount of vitamin D3 to raise your vitamin D3 levels. That's a whole different topic. But there's enough vitamin D3 in the calcium to absorb it. Very little calcium absorbs without vitamin D3. So we need it for all of these reasons. Again, if you've got somebody that's on a TLS program, you're going to want to have that person on B vitamins and calcium, because calcium supports healthy body weight as well. I always like to bring that in there because I worry about people that start on